Good morning to all of you. So, this is the PhD video lecture on control of synchronous motors. So, before going to start the control of synchronous motors, let us summarize the contents covered in earlier. From beginning onwards, number of times we discussed this subject consisting of DC drives as well as the AC drives. The first three units covered the DC drives, and unit number fourth as well as unit number fifth, these two completely belongs to the AC drives. So actually in earlier month onwards the online classes commenced, and in the online classes we completed the unit number fourth, which is the control of induction motors. So induction motors are very best suited in the domestic applications as well as industrial applications. That is the AC motor. Here synchronous motor is also an AC motor. So instead of induction motor, why synchronous motor come into the picture, and what is the various methods to control the speed of a synchronous motor. So all these details discussed in this unit thoroughly. Is so control of synchronous motors. Synchronous motors as well as induction motors, these two are very uh, competitive in case of the industrial as well as domestic applications. So synchronous motors are very expensive compared to that of the induction motors, even though we prefer the synchronous motor because of its advantages. So, in what are the advantages of synchronous motor compared to that of the induction motor? It gives the very high efficiency. This is the greatest asset of the synchronous motor over compared to the induction motor, which tends to lower the life cycle cost. So therefore, because of the efficiency is higher, so the life cycle cost is to be reduces. So see, the synchronous motor drives are close competitors to induction motors in many industrial applications. These motors are more expensive than induction motor drives, but the advantages is that efficiency is higher, which tends to lower the life cycle cost. And synchronous motors always rotating are termed as a constant speed motor. See here, the synchronous motors are mainly used in constant speed applications. Because of the development of semiconductor variable frequency sources such as inverters, cycloconverters, has allowed their use in the variable speed applications such as high speed and high power compressors, blowers, induced and dropped fans, mainline traction, servo drives. So see, the induction motor covers the equality of applications. So where high efficiency is required for us. So regarding this, the main applications so far in this discussion, the advantages of the synchronous motor over the induction motor, and simultaneously the applications of the synchronous motor are discussing here. Yes. So let us start I think you are studied the synchronous motors in EM3. Even though, let us summarize some basics about the synchronous motor, which are helpful for the objective point of us. So in this regard, so what's the synchronous motors? So generally, the commonly used synchronous motors are wound field, permanent magnet, synchronous reluctance, and hysteresis motors. So all these motors has a three-phase stator winding, which is connected to an AC source. So similarly, fractional horsepower, synchronous reluctance, and hysteresis motor may employ a single phase winding also. So these are the different kind of synchronous motors which are available in the market. But in our point of us, so mainly wound field rotors. Wound field rotors, there are two types. One is the salient pole, another one is the non-salient pole type of rotors are to be going to discuss. Yes. So before going to discuss about the internal construction of the rotors, let us have to cover the principle of operation as well as the constructional details of the synchronous motor. So, before going to construction of principle of operation, let us have a look on the constructional details here. So, synchronous motor has a stator as well as the rotor, similar to that of the induction motor. Whatever may be the manner the induction motor stator is, the synchronous motor stator is same. There is no difference between the stator construction of synchronous motor as well as the induction motor. But the rotor constructions are different here. There are two types of rotors mainly used. One is the salient pole wound field motor, another one is non-salient pole. Non-salient pole is another name is cylindrical. See here. So here this is the outer is a stator and inner is a rotor. This rotor is a salient pole. Salient pole in the sense dissimilar construction of the pole structure. So see here, it is a doubly excited system. Doubly excited system. One exciter initially we are providing a three-phase supply to the stator. The stator will generate the three-phase plugs which are rotating in a nature, and whose speed is ns, that is the synchronous speed. One ns is equal to 120 f by p. That's decided by the frequency as well as number of poles. And again we are exciting the rotor excitation, that is the DC supply, which is separately given to the rotor. So therefore there are two excitation. That is the reason this motor is known as a doubly excited. Is and see the due to this dissimilar construction, the air gap is non-uniform here, resulting asymmetrical flux distribution may leads to a rotor direct axis as well as rotor quadrature axis. Like that, due to dissimilar construction of the rotor, this operation is to be divided in splitted into a direct axis as well as quadrature. So this, suppose these poles are to be like a circular fashion, this is nothing but the cylindrical rotor or non-salient. So this is another kind of familiar motor which is permanent magnet synchronous motor. See the magnets which are permanently provided, and these are the north pole, south pole, rotor core, stator and rotor. So these permanent motors are very small ranges. So these are the familiar constructions in synchronous motor rotors. Is so how the synchronous motor is functioning, that is the principle of operation. So a three-phase AC supply which is fed to the stator, so that the stator will produce a rotating magnetic field with a synchronous speed. And similarly DC excitation is given, so the rotor generates the poles resulting the excitation. So during the revolving of the synchronous rotating magnetic flux with synchronous speed, sometimes same poles are at one point and another time dissimilar poles are at another time. Due to attractive and repulsive forces, it cannot be attracted because of the rotor has a high inertia. So to avoid this one, what can you do in the sense, with help of some external means, we are rotating the rotor with a speed equal to synchronous speed and lock the rotor with the synchronous speed. Lock in the sense the opposite poles are attract each other. So we are providing by means of external prime mover, the speed of the rotor is equal to the speed of the stator, so that both will attract each other and magnetically locked and operates. Yes. So that is what it has. Synchronous motors are doubly excited machines. That is, two electrical inputs are provided to it. Three-phase AC supply is provided to stator, produce three-phase rotating magnetic field which is revolving with a speed of ns is equal to 120 f by p. That is known as the synchronous speed. Similarly, DC supply is applied to the or excite to the rotor. So due to rotor inertia, synchronous motor never rotates its own. So due to this, the synchronous motor is not a self-starting machine. So whereas induction motor is a self-starting. See, it's a very good point. You remember this. Synchronous motor is not a self-starting because the motor cannot track the stator speed because of rotor inertia. So that's the reason we can say it as a not a self-starting. So some external prime movers required to rotate the speed of the stator. To rotate the speed of the stator, and synchronous motor always rotates with a synchronous speed only, and torque produced is similar to the induction motor. Yes. So this is the simple principle of operation. Already you are familiar in the principle of operation. Then you have to discuss about the the internal structure of rotors, such as the cylindrical rotor as well as salient pole rotors. So these are important for us. Why? Because sometimes the main number of problems are asked on the basics of the synchronous motor. So in this regards, the first type of rotor which we can consider, that is the cylindrical rotor wound field motor. This is also known as non-salient wound field. Yes. So here the air gap is uniform, therefore the flux is symmetrically distributed. So there is no direct and quadrature axis in the cylindrical rotor. Here only the synchronous reactance is to be considered, and let us consider the equivalent circuit of per phase equivalent circuit of the motor is to be considered here. So the applied voltage, this the excitation voltage, this is the synchronous reactance. So in cylindrical rotor motor, air gap is uniform, and the per phase equivalent circuit of motor rotor circuit as shown here. So where Xs is the synchronous reactance, and E is the excitation voltage, and delta is the power angle. Yes. Yes. So let us define the what is the input power. So the input power of the motor P in is equal to 3 V Is cos phi, where pi is the phase angle of Is with respect to V. Yes. So since stator loss has been neglected, the power developed is Pm is equal to 3 V Is cos phi. This is the equation number 1. The input power, otherwise power developed is same here, that is the equation number 1. So from the equivalent circuit, so equivalent circuit you are seeing here, it is source side has a applied voltage and load side has a excitation voltage. In between this is a reactance. Therefore, current can be always the difference of these voltages by reactance. Yes. So V at an angle of 0, V is the reference volt V at an angle of 0 minus E at an angle of minus delta by Jxs. This is the formula for current, which is equal to V, splitting this into two terms, V by Xs into, so J you have to lift it to the numerator, so that is the minus pi by 2. Then second term minus E by Xs into minus at an angle of minus pi by 2 plus delta. So multiply both LHS side as well as RHS side with cos pi. So Is cos pi is equal to V by X is cos pi by 2, the first term, cos pi by 2 minus E by X is cos pi by 2 plus delta. So cos 90 is 0, you remove this term, and here cos pi by 2 minus delta, it become minus sin delta. So therefore minus minus plus E by Xs sin delta. So substituting in equation number 1 gives the Pm is equal to 3 VE divided by Xs sin delta. This is the equation number 2. The rotating field produced by stator moves at a synchronous speed is given by synchronous speed is always 120 f by p. That should be converted into radians per second. Omega ms is equal to 4 pi f by p radians per second. This is the equation number 3. For steady torque to be produced, rotor field must be at the same speed as the stator field. Why? Because synchronous motor is always rotates with a synchronous speed. So therefore, there is no rotor speed here, only synchronous speed. So torque is equal to Pm by omega ms, 3 V E by Xs in x is into omega ms sin delta. This is the torque developed. So, per a given field excitation, E is constant and Pm and torque are proportional to the sin delta. So, let us see the speed torque characteristics. So, when delta is positive, E lags behind the V. This is having a motoring operation. When regenerative braking is obtained, when delta is negative and E leads by V is. So, let us see the speed torque characteristics here. Is so in this speed versus torque. So, this is the pull out or maximum torque. Motoring up, these are assumed to be parallel straight lines, is motoring operation as well as braking operation. Those values are attained by keeping that delta is equal to positive value per motoring operation, delta is equal to negative per braking operation. So, this figure represents the speed torque characteristics with frequency with a frequency supply. Yes. So, when field excitation is small, the machine operates with lagging power factor. The power factor can be made unity or leading by increasing the field excitation. So, you know already the synchronous motor used as a power factor correction when running under no load condition. So, therefore, it is not a new task for us. Synchronous motor can be utilized for the power factor correction. Why? Because it has an ability to give the different power factors according to the excitation change. So, for lagging power factor, see the excitation is less. For leading power factor, the excitation is more than the applied voltage. For unity power factor, both are making equal. Yes, this is the variation of power factor with field excitation. So, this is about the cylindrical or non-salient type of rotor and those details. Yes. So, let us start the next one, which is the salient pole synchronous rotor. So, salient pole synchronous rotor, once you come to this, so this is not a uniform air gap. Here uniform is not uniform, air gap is not uniform. So, that is the reason what happens, the plugs are asymmetrically distributed and then divided into two components. One is the direct axis, another one is the quadrature axis components. So, in such type of cases, there is no possibility to take from the equivalent circuit diagram. So, there is no alternative for us, then we can go through the phasor diagram of salient pole motor. So, here in this is the excitation voltage, this is the applied voltage, and this the direct axis drop, quadrature axis reactance drop, and see the direct axis current, quadrature axis current, and stator current. That is the source current or supply current. So, this based upon this we will develop all these expressions. Yes. So, the major issues belong otherwise what is the difference between the salient pole synchronous rotor as well as the non-salient pole synchronous rotor? In the sense, salient pole synchronous rotor has dissimilar rotor construction, resulting the air gap is non-uniform. This makes the asymmetrical distribution of the plugs, resulting all the components are divided into direct axis components as well as the quadrature axis components. So, therefore, those are exactly perpendicular to each other. Yes. So, from the phasor diagram, the excitation voltage is given by EF. So, this one excitation voltage is given by the total voltage minus the total voltage minus the direct axis reactance drop as well as quadrature axis reactance drop and armature drop is. So, EF is equal to V minus JXDID minus JXQIQ minus REIA is. So, similarly, as in synchronous motor, the resistive drop is very small, the value of resistance is very small. So, therefore, a resistance drop is to be neglected, resulting, so the value of ID. So, this is the ID. So, ID is basically it is a part of the IS is. So, it is the IS into sine pi minus delta. Sine pi is the total angle between voltage and IS is pi minus delta is the LU of ID. This is the equation number 1. IQ is also part of, but it is in quadrature component. So therefore this one is IS sin S. So there is a little mistake here. ID is IS sin pi minus delta. This is the equation number 1. IQ is IS into cos pi minus delta. This is the equation number 2. In PDF, it was IS sin pi minus delta. You have to rectify this one, equation number 2. Yes. So, and therefore, the IDXD is the drop of this one. Yes. So, this minus the EF, this the V cos delta minus EF will be the drop of IDXD. This is the equation number 3. So from this equation you can calculate ID is equal to V cos delta minus EF by XD. And similarly IQ so this is the quadrature drop you can observe here. So it is the V sin delta directly. Yes. So this is the equation number 3. Substituting equation 2 in equation 4 we get, see what the equation after substituting is. So equation number 2 is, it is a IQ is IS cos pi minus delta, and equation number 4 is IQ is equal to V sin delta. So equation 2 is to be substituted in equation 4. So V sin delta is equal to IS cos pi minus delta. So here expand cos A minus B cos A cos B plus sin A sin B. So this is the equation number 5th. So then dividing equation 5th on both sides, LHS and RHS side, by cos delta and making the LU of delta LU is, so power angle calculation in problems is very important. This is a direct formula which is obtained by dividing both sides by cos delta is V tan delta, this become. So like this you can do the calculation. This will have a LU delta is equal to minus tan inverse IS XQ cos pi divided by V minus ISXQ sin pi, where minus sign signifies that Vf lags V. So this is the lagging power factor. Yes. So if the terminal voltage is resolved into two components such as direct axis as well as quadrature axis components, Vd direct axis voltage is equal to minus V sin delta and Vq is equal to V cos delta. So input power P is equal to 3 IV. So here minus 3 into IDVD plus IQ minus, here is a, the excitation voltage lagging the applied voltage. That is the reason minus has to be taken, and this minus also represented here. So therefore P is equal to, substitute Vd and Vq in this equation, above values in this equation, 3 ID V sin delta minus 3 IQ V cos delta. Yes, is it okay or not? So this is the minus sign, and then VQ is equal to V sin. Check it, the plus or minus in equation number 6 is Vd Vq. So Vq is directly V cos delta minus 3 is, so it has a minus LU. So 3 ID V sin delta minus 3 IQ V cos delta. This is the equation number 6. So therefore, substituting equation 3 and equation 4 in equation 6. So equation 3 has this one. Equation 3 has IDXD is equal to V cos delta minus excitation voltage. IQXQ is equal to V sin delta. Substitute these two values in this expression number 6. So that's after substitution, this becomes, see here, this one, minus 3 V EF XD sin delta minus minus 3v square by 2 xd minus x cube by xd x cube sine 2 delta. So, once the power equation you are having, so there is no need to confuse in here. A minus sign, it represents that the excitation voltage lagging with the that applied voltage. That is the only minus sign. Apart from that, nothing is there. So, therefore, once power developed is known, then torque developed is equal to Pd by omega ms. You have to write this equation like this: is minus 3v ef by xd omega ms sine delta minus 3v square by 2 omega ms into xd minus x cube by xd x cube sine 2 delta. Why this minus has came? In the sense, you substitute the values in equation number 3 and 4 in this minus has came. Is so both are minuses here. So otherwise this equation may be written to avoid that one. Td is equal to 3 by omega ms into V E sin delta by xd plus v square into xd minus x cube by 2 xd x cube sin 2 delta. This is the torque developed expression in case of the salient pole rotor. So that the basics belongs to the synchronous motor rotors are over. So let us have a small problem belongs to the rotors. This such type of problems are asked in the examination point of view on both rotors. Let us see here a 75 kilowatt 3-phase star connected 50H 440 volt cylindrical rotor synchronous motor operates at a rated condition with 0.8 power factor leading. The motor efficiency excluding field and stator losses is 95% and excess is equal to 2.1. Calculate mechanical power developed, armature current, back EMF, power angle, maximum or pull out torque of the. So it is a cylindrical type of rotor. Here armature current in the sense, so that is the IS, and back EMF in the sense EF. Yes, that is the excitation. So let us assume the number of poles are not given or not specified here. You have to be assumed it has a 4-pole machine. So that Ns is equal to 120 F by P, 1500 RPM, and RPS divided by 60 will give the 25 RPM revolutions per second. So PM, P input is equal to P out by efficiency. So it is the 75 kilowatts divided by 95% of the efficiency. So that it is the 78,950 watts is the input power. And second bit armature current, since power input is known, root 3 V is cos pi is equal to that input power 78,950. So all parameters are known except the value of IA. Calculate the value of IA, which is equal to 129 amperes. And the third one is back EMF. This the back EMF is nothing but excitation voltage. Yes. So applied voltage per phase. See here, this circuit is a per phase circuit, per phase equivalent circuit. That is the 440 by root 3. So 254 volts. Let V is equal to 254 at an angle of 0. So therefore V is equal to EB plus J IA into XS. Otherwise EB is equal to V minus JIA XS. So V already calculated, already given in the problem. That is nothing but 254 at an angle of 0 minus 129. Just now calculated the current. 129 at an angle of is, so you see here as per the power factor 0.8, around it is 36.9 into 2.5 at an angle of 90. So it is the exactly 90 degrees. Yes. So therefore simplify this one and make the evaluation like this, so that you will have the excitation voltage or back EMF, which is the 516 at an angle of minus 30 degrees. So 30 degrees is the delta. So therefore the fourth bit power power angle, which is the power angle alpha is equal to or delta is equal to whatever it may be. So the delta we are denoted. So you have to be right. It is a delta. Delta is equal to minus 30. Represent minus sign represents lagging. And similarly, the pull out torque, which is the last one. So pull out torque of the motor pull out or maximum torque that can be achieved at alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, maximum PM is equal to 3 V E by XS in sin delta. Sin delta is 90 here, it's the one value. So, you can evaluate this the PM. So, that divided by the omega ms will have the pull out torque of 1000 Newton meter. Yes. So, this is the today's class. Simply we recollect what are the contents covered in this class in the sense. So, just we started the control of synchronous motors and discussed about the advantages as well as applications of the synchronous motors over compared to that of the induction motor, and started the what is the principle of operation in constructional details of the synchronous motor. After that, the evaluation, mathematical evaluation of salient pole rotor as well as non-salient pole rotors are discussed. These are very very effective and important also for understanding the further unit, and also number of problems which are asked on the basics of the synchronous motor in examination. So in this regards, this problem belongs to the cylindrical rotor, and we will do the another problem in the next class that belongs to the salient pole type of rotor. So these are the topics covered in this unit. Thank you. Thank you one and all. We will meet in the interactive section having any doubts. So, and we will meet again in next class. Thank you. Thank you all.